Lost in space and time for over 10,000 years, on a mission they were never meant to return from. They have returned from the horrible secrets of space. They are the Comic Shop.
Congratulations, all you lucky folks. You're listening to The Comic Shop Does a Podcast with me, current artist, Aaron Z. Lee.
And Lucas Brewer.
Future lawyer. I'm Evan Coy, and we're here today with...
Jonathan Ashline.
Jonathan. So wonderful of you to join us. Lucas, are we doing okay?
Yeah, you need to fix your camera.
What's my camera?
You need to move it up.
Move it up?
Yeah.
All right.
Tilt
Hey,
her up.
tilt it up. There he is,
I think it tilts.
in all his
That's-
glory.
That's too tilted.
Too
Now
tilted?
you're too angled.
A little more down.
A little more down? It's a very delicate operation here.
A little more.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you're almost to the center of the
A little
frame.
more.
Seriously?
You could go a little more.
Yeah, a little more. Keep going.
This is the high quality production value that we're
This is
going
what we've
for.
all missed
All right,
about
that looks good. That looks
being very
good.
inconsistent with our podcasting.
I think it's right back to where it was.
That's what I feel like. It's literally, it's like less than a 16th of an inch that I
Yeah,
moved
this
the
looks
thing.
way better.
Oh, man. All right.
It looks great.
Papa Lee, what's going on? How have you been? I feel like
me?
let's just catch up
Oh
for a
man,
minute.
how long has it been?
It's been like a month.
Has it been a month? When I recovered from COVID, came back.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you had COVID.
Yeah, I missed Free Comic Book Day and the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, just my favorite Marvel character that's been featured in the movies. We talked about that. I came back and talked about Doctor Strange.
That was a great podcast, by the way.
Yeah,
Episode
Was it?
29. Oh,
it's still going.
It's,
It's
what-
never ended in my mind.
what a train wreck that was. Did we update this to the 30th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the final 30th episode. We made it, guys. 3-0, the big 3-0.
Technically, I think this is probably like 35 or something. That we did a bunch of test ones.
Yeah.
That kind of just went off into whatever until we started numbering them. So I'm going to say this might be 34 or 35.
No, it's episode.
Okay,
30.
I believe you.
Or it's episode 30. Thank you, Lucas.
I believe you. We have a spin-off now. We're so popular, we have a spin-off show
Oh, yeah.
with the Gimme Indie Comics
I
show.
saw you guys have stickers. I was going to steal one.
Yeah. Oh, you don't need to steal one. You can just have one. Sweet. But we did an interview with Jeffrey Lewis, musician and cartoonist, publisher of I think self-publisher of a whole bunch of comics. Very accomplished cartoonist and musician, kind of like an indie folk rock and roll guy. We also did an episode, Alex Dexter and I, featuring the Wizard magazine, the fanzine, kind of like an amateur press association book. And Ghost
Now,
Agents.
I know, Lucas, we did an episode about Wizard, the Guide to Comics. That was something that was big when we were kids. Jonathan, do you remember Wizard?
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that episode.
Do you remember that as a kid, though?
Yeah.
That used to be the big... So what's currently going on is there's a bunch of independent artists and creators like Aaron, and professional creators as well, who are doing their own stuff for these big phone book sized Wizard with it's ZERD, so it's like
Yes.
a parody of Wizard, but it's like these beautiful phone books of collected works of like all these independent artists for like $30, and it's like 400 pages of content, and it's
Yeah.
all beautiful and interesting and interviews and
There's some really good stuff in there.
Aaron is featured in the latest one, and
That's the really good stuff I was talking about. No, just kidding.
But some people we've collaborated with in the past were also in there. Peter Melnick,
Sam Blanchard.
wrote. Sam Blanchard
Schlepsig.
did a piece with somebody, and just other cool stuff. So that was
Nick Cognetti of Pink Lemonade is in there. He did
who's
some stuff.
done some Wesley the Robot stuff in the past. He did one pinup that featured a Wesley the Robot, which is very
Yeah.
cool. Nick Cognetti is a guy who's Aaron and I keep saying he's going to blow up. He's like this
How can he not?
25-year-old kid who's just like a phenomenal talent that like he's not going to be a mainstream Spider-Man, Batman artist, but like
He could do Spider-Man.
he does have some Spider-Man pinups that are pretty cool. But like he's going to be one of these indie comic guys that like he's going to do the next Saga, Lucas.
Well,
The Saga, you mean?
Pink
Saga.
Lemonade is coming out through Oni, I think, in the fall. Along another guy in there, Kevin Delgado, our friend to the west.
Kevin Delgado out of Buffalo. We tabled at Rochester Independent Comics Expo back in April, and Aaron made friends with him. He may or may not have collaborated with Aaron. We don't know.
I can't confirm or deny at this point.
But
At least not publicly.
Kevin's been doing a bunch of cool covers for Nottingham.
Nottingham, yeah, he did a kind of a spoof cover on the Bill Sienkiewicz splatter cover where where everything is like a gradation of black and white, and there's like a castle behind it. Like if you know what I'm talking about, that Moon Knight cover.
I think so. Yeah.
And then he did that with the Nottingham cover. That he collaborates a lot with 3D Comics out in Buffalo.
Which I don't understand 3D Comics. 3D Comics is a store in Buffalo that does 3D printed covers of variants of like Image books and other publishers, but like they're just exclusive to the store. So they have a weird business model that like that'd be like me getting Lucas to draw the cover of Spawn somehow legally, and then me being able to sell 500 copies of Lucas's exclusive Spawn cover through the comic shop.
That'd be amazing.
I think McFarlane would come after you fast.
Well, but that's the thing. I think
I'm
that
a lawyer. I can handle it.
they've worked on an Image Comics, and I don't exactly know this. Actually, Alex Dexter was looking into it at one point. But there are certain Image Comics where if you as a retailer commit to buying 500 or 1,000 copies, you can actually get your own variant cover exclusive to the store. So it would be something, again, like maybe not Lucas, maybe this time Aaron. If Aaron ever wanted to draw a comic cover, I could order 1,000 covers. Aaron would submit his image for that cover for that book. If it's approved by Image Comics, they will then print that, send it to the store, and then you've got a exclusive at the store. But it's only a handful of books, and it's not Spawns or anything big typically. It's more like new books that are coming out that they're trying to get exposure to. The Saga, yes.
So I couldn't draw Todd McFarlane talking to Spawn and be like, "Hey, bud, get out of that alley."
You could.
I mean, you could.
He's still directing that next Spawn movie.
Well, that seems
So
to be
he
the hill he's
says.
going to die on, I guess. But I guess he regrets having a kid with a dog in the original one.
Would never film with kids or dogs.
Lucas,
It could be fun.
Lucas, what's going on with you? You want to be a lawyer?
Yeah. I've decided.
Actually, how have your past couple weeks been? I do feel like you haven't been here for a few weeks. You've been
I know,
doing your
yeah.
own thing. You were home for a little bit.
Well, I moved, and then a few days later, I had to go home. I had some family coming into town. That was fun. It was my uncle. Got to see him and his family. Went up to Old Forge. We did this like bike thing almost on
Railroad tracks?
yes.
Yeah.
It was awful. I hated every second of it.
Physical activity.
But I did it. And then we went to Niagara Falls. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, was that the same week as the Niagara Falls comic convention?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, my God, if it was.
I feel like it was.
And if I didn't go.
Because I think Kevin Delgado, who we were just talking about, the artist out of Buffalo who's doing those 3D covers, was there. And he met... did he meet Bill? Was Bill Sienkiewicz there? Or was there like a big name that we always talk about? I don't know.
Niagara Comic Con?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
So what'd you do? What'd you do at the falls?
We went on Maid of the Mist. Did that. Mm-hmm. That was fun. I sat down the whole time. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to. And then...
So what's the alternative? you would've-
James O'Barr was all
James,
up in that.
James
The
O'Barr was
Crow.
there. He got a Crow autograph. That's what it was. That's what.
Ken
it was.
Lashley was there too. He's pretty cool. Michael Golden. Oh, appearance postponed. It wasn't really there. Oh. Yeah, James
They
O'Barr.
said Michael
man.
Silver instead, I think. So what's the alternative to sitting on the Maid of the Mist? Is
Well, you can,
standing?
like- yeah, you can stand. At
Did
the
people
front of
throw
the
up?
boat. No. No one threw up. Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
There was at one point where, because I do get motion sick and seasick, but luckily I didn't. Because it's like a 15-minute ride. You're really not on there for long. But for
So you
whatever
feel like
reason,
it's a ripoff, kind of?
no, it was a good time. It was cool. Like
I mean,
we were
it's-
in, like
it's-
the
it's-
mist, you know.
It's
And
like you could imagine like dinosaurs, kind of like walking out, or like pterodactyls flying over it. It feels like
Jurassic
epic.
Park.
It feels like an epic natural thing. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you were at the Grand Canyon, I bet that would feel like that too.
Yeah.
I've never been out there though.
but
So it would feel like dinosaurs.
Well, it just feels like a primal, earthy, epic space. Am I describing this right? Are you picking up what I'm
I mean,
saying?
yeah,
that's
like
kind of how the
predates
feeling I
man.
got, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Dinosaurs.
yeah, that was fun. I sat down with my Aunt Donna, and I stayed dry. I only had one pair of shoes.
Your Aunt Donna, who's not really your aunt.
No, she is.
Auntie Donna?
No, you're right. She's really not, because she's my grandpa's cousin, first cousin. So really, she'd be like my third cousin. I think that's how it works. But I just call her Aunt Donna.
Do you like how I know more about his
I
family
was
than he
gonna
does?
say,
Yes.
that was impressive.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Because you've mentioned it several times.
I
And the
mentioned
fact
it
that you
maybe,
said
like,
no,
once.
I'm like, wait a second. You've mentioned this 100 times that Aunt Donna, she's not really my aunt, though.
He just likes to contradict you.
You know? But yeah, that was fun. Made in the mess.
And now you're going to be a lawyer,
Yeah, I'm thinking about law school.
which we can't figure out if you're trolling us or
I
not.
don't know why. I've told you like 2 or 3 months ago. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to go to law school.
Give your pitch to Jonathan about wanting to be a lawyer. Convince
There's no
Jonathan.
pitch.
Convince Jonathan that you're going to be a good lawyer. Go.
Well, I don't know if I will be a good lawyer. I have to go to
Convince
law school
Jonathan
first.
that you will be a lawyer. Go.
Well, I'm going to take my LSAT and then go to law school.
Jonathan, your thoughts?
And then you take the bar and what
And then
happened at
take the
film
bar.
school? As
Well,
a
I-
former film school graduate, I'm a little taken aback.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to do that.
No film?
I decided. It's
I'd still finish it.
no, I did.
Oh, you did. You
Yeah,
finished your
I
rap.
technically could have graduated
Oh, okay.
because I have all my film, cinema and screen studies out of the way now.
Perfect. Okay. Then do
I
whatever you
passed
want.
everything, and then I have one more year at SUNY Oswego for broadcasting and mass communications, and then from there, going to law school to be a media lawyer.
Media lawyer.
What does a media lawyer do?
Work with, copyright, laws, stuff like that. You defend media.
Okay. Or did you prosecute media?
You could prosecute media.
How would you do that?
Well, if someone was in violation of your copyright, you would sue them.
You wouldn't even send a cease and desist first? You just go in hot?
Well, it depends. I would say.
What would
And
your
then there's
what would
always
your
the
cease
argument.
and desist letter look like?
Well, I would say cease and desist. And it would say, if you don't take this down by a certain date, we will sue.
Would it say Lucas Brewer Esquire or something at the bottom?
Something like that.
Are you an Esquire if you're a lawyer, or is that just a random?
I don't
Can
know.
I admit some ignorance? I have never understood the Esquire portion.
I don't.
If only there was an instantly searchable.
I mean, I think it's either a
database.
lawyer or you're a member of the Wild Stallions if you use the word Esquire.
But yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
I'll be a media lawyer. I'm going to try to get into SU law. That way I can live in Oswego, still work here,
Spend a fortune,
and then just commute.
be
to
in debt
SU.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Although the
Yeah.
way the world economy is looking, we're all be in debt for the rest of our lives. So I guess maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe that's
Ah, that's a good solution.
yeah.
Anyway, Esquire
Yes.
is an honorary title that is placed after a practicing lawyer's name. Practicing lawyers are those who have passed a state's or Washington, D.C.'s bar exam and have been licensed by that jurisdiction's bar association.
Yeah.
So does that mean Bill Preston of the Wild Stallions was a lawyer?
Yes.
I'm learning something new every day.
So what was he doing in high school? Taking a social studies class?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a very good point. If he was already a lawyer, why is he in high school taking? Yeah.
I did watch Bill and Ted. I saw it was for free on Amazon Prime Video, and I did watch the new one, the Face the Music.
I heard it was great.
It was pretty good.
I really thought it was good. I thought it was good. I thought it had a good message to it.
What was the message? It was that
Not-
great.
Well, I'm trying to put it together in my
I'm
mind
sorry.
here.
I'm very.
Without-
You think that me pausing is is me just like hating on something?
I'm just looking to attack everybody tonight. So as soon as there's a pregnant pause, I just feel like I'm like
It's that in a world where we can all participate and be supportive of each other, we can all have a better future together. I think is the overall message that movie was trying to say.
I like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think it was beautiful. Like a little hokey, but in the way that I kind of like the '80s, like Star Trek: The Next Generation, where it's like it's hokey, but like hokey and like it should be like that though.
Very optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it.
Any reference to George Carlin?
I was gonna ask.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
And it was good.
Who's
I mean,
George
it was only a little blink, but yeah, he's in it. There's a hologram of him in it
Cool.
with Kanye and Tupac. No, just kidding.
That would actually be great. Jonathan, how have you been? I feel like it's been a few months since we've seen you. Sold a couple of your books recently. We were down to our last copy. We were talking the other day. How many copies do you think you sold here?
Here at the store, probably 7 or 8.
Okay. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Considering we're not a bookstore. And I've told this to Jonathan. I think I've told this to you guys. It's not that I dissuade people from buying Jonathan's book, but when somebody picks it up, I go, hey, just so you know, there's some heavier content and more adult material in there. And almost every time the response is, "Oh, great, I love that," or "Oh, great, my girlfriend will love that." So I do think that's funny that I not that I'm trying to dissuade people from, but I just want to make sure that they're not taking it home and going, "Oh, this is a little more intense than I was ready for." And some people recognize your name, some people do not. But it's the response to that book has been very, very good. And I think the last time you were here, we were talking Batman.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the Batman. Anybody else watch it since then?
I've rewatched
I
it.
tried to
Okay.
watch it with my wife, and she didn't like how slow it was. She was waiting for it to get in there. But one movie she did like
Yeah.
was the Chip and Dale reboot.
Oh, need
I
see
do want to
that.
watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen? Have you seen it?
No.
My brother watched it. He
Mark-
said he really enjoyed
Fantastic!
it.
A spiritual sequel to Who Framed Roger
That's
Rabbit.
what I hear.
That's what Martin said. Martin watched it. I didn't watch it, but he said it wasn't quite that, but it was just in that same wheelhouse where like it was a very nice, different, and it obviously touched on that style of movie.
It's a movie where they took a lot of like unloved pop culture and just like garbage and different concepts of things that actually happen in the real world and made it into something that was very entertaining and very meta and very heartfelt too. It was very odd. It was very odd because it's John Mulaney and Andy Samberg who
Right,
do the
yeah.
voices of Chip and Dale.
And then
It's-
don't
yeah,
you
it's
have like
just so
old
good.
Peter Pan and stuff in there?
Well, yeah, without.
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, but
Isn't he
I've
the
heard
main
some of the
villain?
cameos.
Lucas is like a bull in a china shop.
That's like in the
It's like-
marketing.
is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know it before I watched it.
Yeah, that's like in the marketing. You see, yeah, he's like in trailers and stuff.
Old Peter, I guess.
Truth to the rumor that Wesley the robot is in the movie.
Is that true?
You just have to watch it.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying. I got a surprise 30K. That no, I'm just kidding. I wish that he got optioned into a Disney movie. Yes, please.
Yeah,
be
sign
cool.
me up.
Oh, that'd be sick. That's what we all do it for, right? Actually, the ideal situation is that you keep optioning it, and nobody ever makes a movie out of it, like the Concrete movie. So then it's just like a surprise 30K every 4 years. It's like, oh, okay.
I didn't do anything with it.
Looks like Lucy can go to one semester of college.
Jonathan, I want to talk about your new Kickstarter,
Okay.
but I kind of want to talk about your first book and how that went as well. Because again, from a comic shop level, that seemed like a pretty big success to me. But I'm just living within these four walls. It's a much bigger experience for you. Can you touch on how the Kickstarter went and where that's taken you, or what that experience has been?
Sure. The initial Kickstarter back in January was, I think, wildly successful. It over tripled my goal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just had a lot of goodwill. Several contributions that weren't even for rewards.
Oh, wow.
Just people, like good luck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How about we spell Jonathan's name correctly too on his
I
screen?
thought that is how you spell it.
And we'll just change that last O to an A.
No, my bad.
Thank you.
Always good to insult our guests.
we try to do
Which
here.
honestly distracted me from the last 30 sequence of what you said. So if you want to give me a little recap there, because I was just like, that's not correct.
Oh yeah. The first Kickstarter was very successful and over tripled its goal. It really allowed me to do new and creative things with it. Explore like a lot more artists and everything than my original plan.
So there is some art in this book. I'm not sure I don't know anybody who contributed any pieces to that. But so where did you find some of these artists, or why was that important to the presentation of your final package of your book?
There's a lot of characters in the book. There's about 8 particular characters that are personifications of like emotions that I have. And I wanted to be able to present them in more than just words and give people an actual image to go with that.
I just had this revelation. So each image represents a personality. Because one of my questions was going to be, who is Mr. Anxiety? But there's a picture of Mr. Anxiety. I guess I just didn't put 2 and 2 together until you said that now.
Yeah.
So who is Mr. Anxiety?
They're 1-to-1. Mr. Anxiety is the first one I came up with. He's where it all started. He kind of sums up my own personal anxieties, and I wanted to give. It was actually a suggestion from my counselor that I, create a character to go along with my anxiety. And
It reminds me of what were those little books that were like Miss Triangle,
Yep.
Mr. Circle, or whatever, but
Yeah.
like with the more adult version of that.
yeah, very much so. Yep. Yeah, just very basic concepts, but also tackled in a very like adult and complex way.
Who is Rage? And I'm referring to the Marvel Comics character.
Comics. I don't know.
He's 13 years old. I know that much.
He is. He was. Was it like toxic waste or something transformed him into like the big muscle bound guy that he is?
I think so. And he wears the mask so that people don't know he's like a little kid. Like,
Yes.
Like with a giant hulking body.
Is this a new character?
This is from the 90s.
New from like 1990. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, with
we
Night Thrasher and Speedball and
Okay, the new warrior.
No, I want
Nova.
who is Rage in your book?
In my book, he's an older guy. Has some problems controlling his emotions. He's actually the conduit through which I chose to channel a lot of my views on injustices in the world, and so his anger comes from a more self-righteous place, and also at the end of Rage, there's also this moment of apology and kind of regret that I think naturally follows most people's rage outbursts or angry outbursts, what have you.
Now, Aaron, when you fly off the handle in a violent rage,
Me?
you're not quick to apologize.
Knows this.
Well, you know this firsthand, so I'll just let you speak to it.
No.
Clearly.
So all these different personalities, these 8 different characters, are all different subsets of who you are as a whole, or are these? I mean, I'm sure there's more than just 8 pieces to Jonathan Ashline,
Right.
but this is the 8 pieces that you've been wrestling with over the past couple years.
Yeah, really since the pandemic hit, and I needed to write to cope with a lot of the isolation.
Are these characters then appearing in your next book as well? So it's a continuation of?
It is, yep. In fact, I think I'm introducing 1, maybe 2 more new personalities. And so, we get to kind of catch up with the characters from the first book and see where they're at, and particularly how they cope in a hospital environment.
How much of this is fiction versus nonfiction? Because there are certain short stories that I'll read that I'll go, I could see parts of this being just factual, like almost like a diary.
Yeah.
And then I can see parts of it being like, okay, there's the manufactured, not fantasy, but like, where, and I'm sure the line is very blurry in terms of fact or fiction, but how do you navigate that?
Yeah, that's a good question because so much of it is biographical.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the term biographical, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. It's like autobiographical, but in a fantasy setting. So I get to kind of tell my story and my struggles with mental health, but also have fun with it and incorporate characters that weren't really there at the time and how they react to the situation as well.
May I read Lucas? Lucas is waiting for this. May I read a selection from the book, Lucas?
You can.
Jonathan, may I read a selection from the book?
Absolutely.
This is right at the beginning. It's called The Moon and the Flower. Lucas, the moon was set in the sky long ago. The stars' holes poked in a blanket of darkness twinkled and danced around the moon. It yearned to dance and move with the celestial bodies around it, but the moon hung motionless in the dark. Lucas, a simple seed was dropped into the earth. It grew, and it grew over time. Before long, petals sprouted, pens and petals sprouted, and the flower bloomed. The moon looked down and saw this flower, and she was beautiful. She made him forget she was a very nice lady. She made him forget about all the stars dancing around him. The flower looked up at the full moon shining with hidden sadness. The flower smiled, for he was brighter than anything she'd known on the ground. Lucas, the moon pushed and pulled on the blackness, and yet was trapped. The flower pulled at the earth and stretched towards the sky. Neither left their homes. They waited and waited. Soon the moon disappeared and was replaced by a larger, fiery body. The flower blossomed. She forgot about the moon and the rays of sun, but eventually the sun grew bored and tired and left to cast its beams on other life. In the background, Lucas, the moon waited. He could still not move closer to the flower. With the sun gone, the flower slept deeply and still, and the moon waited. He pulled and pulled, but as he pulled, parts of him fell away. Slowly he began to vanish. The more he fought, the more he shrank away. Before long, he had disappeared entirely. The flower awoke one night and looked up, remembering that once bright and brilliant sphere in the sky that kept her company in the lonely nights. She searched and searched as far as she could see, but it was too late. The moon was gone. That was from Jonathan Ashline.
Wrote that for Lucas.
I hope you're not offended by my incorporation of Lucas and pens and pedals into parts of it. You talk about the moon a few times in this book. That's another symbol I think you come back to. Mm-hmm. What am I reading into that? But I feel like there's a couple moon references in there, but maybe it's not as deep as I'm making it.
I think the moon is beautiful.
It's like that song that Yellow did, the Oh Yeah song, where they go, the moon is beautiful.
Just like
And they go, the sun, even more beautiful. And then they're like, oh yeah.
that was it.
Is this the bow?
Yes. Yes.
Song?
The Ferris Bueller song, yes.
I didn't realize that there were lyrics.
Oh, you're missing out, man.
I just
And they're
know
not just one-hit wonders. I actually enjoy them quite a bit.
I just know the bow.
Yeah.
It's a great hook. They just dropped a new album a couple of years ago. They're still around.
Wow.
The moon.
Yeah, no, I just growing up, it was something I would do a lot. I think my folks took me outside and we just looked up at the stars and the moon at night. And they also took us to a couple of planetariums, which were also kind of, I guess, impactful.
Is there a planetarium around here?
Yeah, there's one right at SUNY.
Yep.
Is it really?
I didn't know that.
Lucas, you ever go to the planetarium?
No, can't say I have.
Good.
I liked that as a kid. We had one in Rochester that I
freaked me
remember
out.
going to as a kid, and the Natural Museum of Science Center, and I think across the street was the planetarium. I always thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think I'd be scared. I hate.
The planetarium?
Yeah,
I can't bite you.
I hate looking up at the stars at night because it scares me. I don't know why.
Why does it scare you?
Because it makes me just feel so small. And I remember probably like 2 years ago, maybe less, there was like a comet or something, and my parents were like, come outside and look at it. And I did. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This freaks me out. And it always has, like being in like big spaces and stuff, like a big football stadium. Mm-hmm. I just hate it. And the most, is that what it's called? The science?
Yeah, museum.
Yeah. In Syracuse.
Technology.
There's a big IMAX theater, and we used to go there on school trips and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time we went to this IMAX theater, and it's like a dome, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you lay down and you look up. And I remember being so freaked out by it because it was just so huge. I was like, I don't like this at all. And I wanted to leave. And it was on like a documentary about Mount Everest. I'm like, this is even freakier. I absolutely hated it.
What's scarier, mountains or space?
Space.
Space.
Because it's just so big. Like I said, I don't like looking up. Like people will like, let's go stargazing or whatever. And I'm like, no,
Wow, space is so cool, though.
I'm not. I do agree. I'm fascinated by space. But I just don't like looking up at the
You don't like
stars.
that
at night.
feeling of
I also
helplessness.
I can't look up during the day either. Like if it's like a clear sunny day, I hate looking up at the blue sky. It just freaks me out. I don't know why. It just does.
The blue sky freaks you out.
Yeah. Because I'm like,
Jonathan, analyze this.
I know. It does.
I'm not a psychologist.
Well, it's just like the vast and the vastness of it and the bigness of it. It's like, just I don't know. It
So
freaks
that
me out.
song, Nothing But Blue Skies, to you, that's a Stephen King novel, that song.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing but blue skies from now
Right.
on.
That's straight on horror. To me. That's got me shaking.
You gotta
at the
live in
knees,
that.
You know?
Forever.
It's always I
Nothing
don't-
but blue skies and infinite death. Yes, that's.
It's just always freaked me out. I have a fear too of being upside down. I don't know why.
I don't have a fear of it. I just don't like it.
Well, when I was
I mean, it
little
depends
and
on what's going
stuff,
on.
I would like imagine like, what if like we're upside down right now, like, and I don't know, it would just always freak me out, and that'd be another reason why I would hate being in like big stadiums or whatever, or, you know, looking up at the sky, because I'd be like, what if like technically we're upside down right now, and for whatever reason it just freaked me out.
So Jonathan has several different characters that he delves into. Lucas, what are the characters that, if you were to write your book here,
Yeah.
what on earth is going on in your mind? Like, what's one of your characters that lives in your head? Not Mr. Anxiety, Mr.
Mr. Sky.
Infinite Space.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
infinite space. Yeah.
It just freaks me out, yeah. And like sometimes I'll look up if it's like blue, like I'm not even kidding. If it's like a nice, clear, sunny day, I'll look up and I'll have to like try to get down to the ground lower because I just get freaked out too much by it. I know it sounds really weird, but like I'll literally like bend my
It sounds
knees.
fascinating.
I'll like bend my knees and be like, I'll be like, and look up. It's just I think there's a phobia of like big areas or spaces or whatever.
There has to be, right? That seems very logical.
And I think that's what it comes from. Just I have a fear of being in if I was like in an open environment.
So, like, if we put you out in the middle of a big field somewhere, do you think that would be difficult for you to
it might
process?
freak me out, yeah, a bit.
Could you go ahead?
So if we cast you in The Sound of Music and had you teaching those children,
Where the hills are alive.
Where the
Oh, the
hills
hills are
are-
alive. Oh,
No,
that's
I
frightening.
don't think that
That'd
would
be-
freak me out.
no.
If it was a flat plane, like I'll see like pictures of like I don't know like Alaska or whatever of like the sky's really bright at night with stars and whatnot, and there'd be this lake and it's like super reflective of the stars. If I was out in that middle of the lake, I would have a panic attack. It would freak me the heck out. I don't know why. I've had dreams about this too, where I swear to God, where I'm like in Alaska or whatever, and it's nighttime, and there's a lake that's super reflective of the stars at night, and it's like a nightmare. I hate it.
You know what's funny that he mentions this? When I'm home and watching Lucy, I'll put on like ambient sounds, and this new thing on YouTube that I've started to enjoy is just flyovers of scenic parts of different countries around the world, and I'll just play them.
There's a bunch of drone videos that are like that, where it's just that kind of ambient whatever music, and then it's just the drones flying over farmland and things. Maybe this is a little bit different than what you're saying, but
No, there's some farmland in there. It's just whatever scenic, just a drone going over the Swiss Alps, the Austrian Alps, like a cool place, Germany, anywhere I can think of, like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to see what that looks like, Singapore, whatever. So the thing you fear, was the algorithm suggested to me, and I said, all right.
You enjoy that?
Yeah.
Or if I was out in the middle of the ocean at night, and regardless of me potentially dying from starvation or thirst or whatever, just like this view of there's nothing around and it's just ocean. And if it was a blue sky that day, I'd have a panic attack.
Well,
Jonathan Ashline, my pocket of fear is my silent cacophony. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to. We talked a little bit about the moon. Let's talk about Moon Knight. Let's talk about how mental health is portrayed in comics, and particularly, I only watched the first episode of Moon Knight, but how
you only watched the first episode?
Yeah. This is where you fill in the blanks.
We're about
So
to
it
sit
ended, and you're like, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm curious. Everybody's take on that. That there was controversy in regards to that. He had 3 distinct personalities, and I'm not sure what disorder that represents. But there were a few people that said it was handled very well. A few people said it could have been handled better.
Maybe borderline? No.
No.
A dissociative identity
Yes,
disorder?
yeah, that's what it
I was
is.
trying to remember the new term. Used to be schizophrenia.
Okay.
And they don't really call it that anymore. Dissociative identity disorder.
Is that just because there's a negative connotation with
Yeah,
the word
the
schizophrenia? It's just a word that's over time has become more toxic.
Stigmatized.
Yeah. Did you watch Moon Knight at all?
I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Give me your take on that then, in terms of from a mental health perspective, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know
Or just if you liked it or not.
there's a lot of conversation around the action sequences in the beginning of that show and how they kept cutting away. And I really thought that helped to put us in the mind of the main character. Oscar Isaac's character,
Yeah, Mark Spector
and what's the other one? Grant.
and Stephen Grant.
Stephen Grant.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it was very effective in how disorienting it was to kind of sympathize with this lead character, and they didn't carry it through the whole show. I think they did a nice job of kind of exploring and letting the viewers figure out why the show is so jumpy like that. At the same time as the main character.
Did you feel like it was tasteful in the approach? Again, I feel like overall people were relatively satisfied with how it was handled.
Yeah, no. In fact, I found it very poignant. There's one scene later on in the show that I won't give too much about, but they they basically call Oscar Isaac's character broken because of his mental disorder, and there's a whole question about whether or not that makes him worthy of being Khonsu's avatar. And I thought that was a really great question and something they brought up, and I was like, oh, that's impactful because they didn't really weigh in. I don't think they came down one way or the other too heavily, so that kept them from committing to.
I mean, I thought the show was good. It actually freaked me out towards the end.
Was it because he was flying through the sky?
No, because I don't know. I won't
In
spoil
the
anything.
night sky?
That freaks me out. No,
Through the terrible secret of space.
it's not that. shit.
There's some legs to that concept, but anyway.
No, because there's this whole sequence where it's almost like the Matrix, kind of, where it's like, is he really here? Is he not? And so I don't know. That just
They do that right up until the end.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know. That freaked me out. I was like, oh my god, what if I'm not where what if this is all just a creation of my imagination?
There was a moment in there where I was like, "Oh no, this isn't all just a dream, is it?" No, because
Yeah.
I do, because that's a writer thing where you don't want to do that because then it makes all the time invested into something, and if it wasn't real, it's
Meaningless.
yeah, it does. I mean, maybe it's not exactly because dreams have meaning too, but
But it's far less impactful. Than
Yes,
if
yes.
the events actually took place. And I was right there with you when they do a little fake out, and I was like, no, please don't be just in his head.
Yeah, I mean, they can go into his head. That's fine and great. Then I welcome that because they can do some cool visuals with that stuff. But yeah, like you said, I want the things to actually happen. Like if I'm watching the things, I want them to actually happen.
Yeah, they need to have consequence.
Yeah.
I'm going to read another selection from Jonathan's first book, My Pocket of Fears.
Okay.
It's entitled My Beard. It introduces me when we meet. It hides me when I don't want to be seen. It entertains me when I am anxious. It shields me when I am scared. It tickles their lips, Lucas. It itches and soothes. It is my best friend, always there when I am down, when I am around, always around when I am alone. It's also a traitor, divulging my mental state, even when I'm trying to hide, especially when I'm trying to hide. Talk to me about your beard.
Well, there's no product. It's all natural. No, the poem, many ways is about masking your mental illness, and if that's depression or anxiety, and oftentimes people will wear extra layers or let their hair grow out or to try and mask the struggles they're going through, and I think the beard has done that for me.
Evan's mustache.
It's beautiful.
It's cry for help.
Is it like a safety blanket to a certain degree? Is there? I mean, it's part of your identity. This big, beautiful beard, but it's more than that.
Yeah, no, I have had it for so long that some folks have encouraged me to make it like a mascot or a logo with a beard.
Shave it off and donate it to someone.
If I ever, if somebody could convince me to shave it,
Can that be a stretch goal?
yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
It's like cutting Samson's hair, though. I don't feel like that's
Maybe-
like a.
Maybe like diet or something.
People
to
like
reach a
that kind of
certain
stuff.
goal.
Like I was watching a live stream of Comic Tropes one time, and he had gum from 1989, the Batman movie
Nice.
card pack, and they were like, if we donate $500, will you chew the gum? And he's like, $500. That's a large amount of money. I don't think anybody's going to donate that much. And then they did, and he had to eat the gum, and he's like, it tastes like carpet. It tastes like old carpet.
For the record, I would eat a 32-year-old piece of gum for $500.
I mean, who won it?
Welcome to the Comic Shop Does Desperate.
You should see these magic orders we got coming up, man. I need some cash. Aaron, can you potentially do an imagining of Jonathan sans beard? Is there?
Oh, can I? It's already done. Evan.
Oh, it's almost like this was planned. Oh, we don't have a document camera today.
It's okay. But here's what. Let's see. Was it have the right level of exposure?
Though. Very powerful chin. That's how, Aaron, you're taking a style points from me. That's how I draw a face. Like
Well,
super angular.
I knew you were the client, so I
Okay, thank
leaned
you.
into it.
That's amazing.
super angular is how I always go for things. So
When in doubt, make it a straight line. That's what I learned from Norman Rockwell.
who was that?
Norman Rockwell, my mentor, my old mentor.
Oh yeah. Oh,
when-
Normie.
I called him Norm. I said, "You're a very normal man, Norm." And he said, "I guess." But yeah, Norman Rockwell, mid-century illustrator, great tracer.
We've explained that to Lucas before.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you were saying that the other day. Him and a few of the other mid-century illustrators like that.
More than a few. Everybody who's like a classic magazine illustrator, they take photos and go right to the light board or the Lucille machine to like project it onto stuff.
Wow.
They don't have time to waste. I got to hit those deadlines.
Yeah, I always feel like that's cheating, but Aaron's opened my eyes up to the world of artistically cheating, and it's actually made me a better artist.
Yeah.
That instead of like pretending to see how things are, or in my mind, I'm doing it. Just use more reference. Aaron's right. Use more reference, and I feel like all of a sudden, all those little things that are like weird, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, that are quirky of mine, I go, like Aaron keeps telling me to use reference, and the more reference I use, the better my stuff seems to get.
All the best guys do. Even
Yeah.
Kirby used reference.
Kirby didn't use reference.
I know for a fact he did.
You met him?
Yeah, my other old mentor, Jack Kirby. Me and Jack Kirby.
Jackie.
Me and Jack Kirby, Norman Rockwell, just hanging around having dinner on a Sunday night one time. They're like, "Aaron, when's that Wesley book going to come out?" And I said, "Guys, not until 2024.
Nice. That's a true story. Wow.
That reminds me of your question about the artists, and thank you for that illustration. I think you're giving me my chin way too much credit.
It's you don't know what's under there though. That's the thing, is that there could be this really powerful
Massive chest,
jawline.
It's not. There's no jawline at all. But anyways, reference material. I had a couple of my artists for the first book who kind of struggled with their commission because some of them were pretty new and inexperienced. I wanted to go with a lot of people that I just knew personally and would want to work with, and would want to work with me on this first project. And it's so neat to hear you talk about reference material, and because that was one of those things I was encouraging my other artists to do. Is just like, let me send you some pictures. Let me send you what I
These are the things that are resonating with me.
Yeah.
Do give me your take on it. That's cool.
I actually had too much reference. I actually cut stuff from
yeah.
my illustration because I think the thing I turned into still had like 6 separate things that were drawn
elements.
in it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Congrats on getting your book into River's End.
Thank you.
What was that process?
There's a little
River's End being our local bookstore.
Yes, downtown Oswego. I didn't know it was down there.
Oh, for real?
Stop.
Until some friends told me that it was there.
It's been there for like 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just found out. Like, so that's why I'm like promoting it. But I did bring books down to them, and Bill, the owner, wasn't in at the time, so I left him with Emil. And
Also, great beard.
Emil's.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I went to high school with him.
Two very powerful beards out of that high school.
Yeah.
That's
How come I don't recall him with a beard?
he still has a beard, right?
He may have shaved it in like the last couple of weeks.
Really? Last time he was in here, Jonathan Ashline asked, and I'm not going to say if one was better or the other, but it was a strong.
Full beard.
Yeah.
Maybe in this era of the masks, the last time I saw his full face, there wasn't one. But maybe I'm just reverting to like the first time I met him or whatever.
You know, and I've only known him for 2 years, so maybe that's my perception of him is just he's had a beard the 5 times we've interacted. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
River's End, you got your book in there though.
Yeah, they I thought maybe they'd call me or something, and when they made a decision or something, but no, they apparently got like fast tracked to the shelf, and
Nice.
I got word of mouth from friends that hey, your book is down there. So I stopped in and I was like, can I do something really geeky? Can I take a photo of my book on the shelf? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I even mentioned to you, I would have even gone with you and like introduced you or whatever. Not that we have a great, I mean, we're friendly. I'm not best friends with him or anything like that, but I thought that was,
nemesis.
he is, he's our retailer arch nemesis. Oh, no, actually, we have a very good relationship with River's End that they send us people all the time. We send them people all the time.
Fantastic.
We're going to do a promotion with them over the summer, the Where's
Ooh.
Waldo promotion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other places you're looking to sneak your book into?
Those were the big ones locally. You mentioned the bookstore in Fulton. I thought that was a great idea. I didn't know if they were only used or if they do new books as well.
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I think you just pitch it as, hey, I'm a local author.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you not want it? Okay, great. Either way, have a good day.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot.
Tell us what is going on?
What about the public library? Did you get yours in there?
That's another place I have dropped.
Lucas, that's a really good one.
Yeah, I've
Of
dropped
course
it
it
off.
is. I have a good idea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
to
Yeah, or the school library.
Yeah.
There's, ooh,
the school library. I don't know about the school libraries. Only because the content in the book is a little like 18 and older.
well, it's like SUNY.
Oh,
yeah, the
that
college.
Penfield.
Yeah,
Okay,
Penfield.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, local grade schools, they'd love it.
It's like
Kindergarten class,
Yeah.
you know.
Preschool. Yeah.
I mean, never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a terrible joke, but I'm not. We're gonna.
Learn to read with my pocket full of fear.
This book won't mess you up at all.
Lucas, that's a very good idea though. Libraries, you should investigate in that. See if get a couple copies out there, and yeah, would they feature it? Would they put it on a shelf somewhere and just say local author? If you're into poetry, you wite a little description like you did for me. I think that'd be a great idea.
I mean, I don't know exactly how like the wholesaling to libraries go, but I'm like the bigger authors and stuff like they do a fair amount of business with libraries, so it's.
I would almost think that would be like you're donating type thing. I don't think that
well-
would be a. I mean,
I
I don't
don't know.
know. I don't know.
I don't
know.
But I also feel like that might be my approach to like, it's just, hey, just try to get it out there that if, try to find one person that'll read it and maybe they'll back the next Kickstarter then or something
Yeah.
like that.
Libraries do purchases.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
All
They
right.
do for the big retailers, and yeah, I don't know if they'd pay anything for me.
Tell us about your current Kickstarter.
right.
My silent cacophony. Lucas, what does cacophony mean?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I looked it up.
You looked
You
it up.
you knew what cacophony meant.
Me? Well, I had
Yeah.
an idea, but sometimes it's nice to go to the source.
I had an idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a harsh,
Discordant mix of
discordant
sound.
mixture of sounds. That's
Oh,
what-
okay.
that's
Boy,
kinda
that's pretty close.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not
but
exact, but that's pretty close.
I was thinking that. Well, Google would disagree.
I thought it
with
was
me
just
there,
something real loud.
I always thought it was like a clamorous,
Yeah.
like lot of different
A lot of different
asynchronous
noises.
sounds, whatever.
Well, that would be correct.
Thank you.
but- So I was on the dot with that one.
So tell us how's your Kickstarter going? Where
Right.
is it? Where do we go?
Kickstarter.com, and then you can search either my name, Jonathan Ashline, or my silent cacophony.
Which good thing we spelled your name correctly.
Yes.
Yes.
Jonathan Ashline. Your last name is Ashline. Jonathan Ashline. You can search on Kickstarter. My Silent Cacophony. I think the comic shop page shared it as I shared it. I don't know if the comic shop. Maybe
Right.
let's when we get off of this,
Yeah.
I will make sure we share it on the comic shop page.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's a continuation of My Pocket of Fears. It's the same characters. It follows the same protagonist.
Lucas, what does protagonist mean? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Main character.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You know film.
I'm gonna sue you one day.
You and what lawyer?
Defamation. That's what.
Deformation.
Defamation.
I don't know. Kickstarter. How's it
Yeah,
going?
okay, thank you.
What differences maybe between this go around and your first go around?
Sure.
I honestly think in the economy that we're in right now, this is probably going to be a tougher sell.
It is.
That like, just I don't know. I'm an economic junkie, and I just feel like there's with the prices of gas going up, with inflation, with everything like that. I'm worried here that like, are people going to spend the extra $25 on comics, or they're going to have to get gas and food with it? So, I would say don't be discouraged. I know that you've got a good amount of donations coming in, but maybe the difference in process between then and now.
Right now, we're at about, at least last I checked before this podcast, we were at $676 out of $1,000 goal.
Sweet.
So yeah, I'm still pretty confident. That's with like 10 days left to go.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, that the Kickstarters also have a certain rhythm to them, and they do. Right now, we're in what's called the dead zone of a campaign because I've been doing it for about 7 days already.
So does it start off hot?
Yeah.
It's quiet for the next middle
Yep.
3/4, and then it ends hot.
Hot
yeah.
again. Yeah,
I could totally see
Everybody
that.
wants to get in before the last like 48 hours are up. So I just keep doing the promoting thing during the dead zone and keep reminding people that it's there and hoping I reach that goal so that I can make the second book a reality.
My Silent Cacophony on Kickstarter now. Jonathan Ashline on therapy, hospitalization, and treatment. A sequel to my novel, My Pocket of Fears. Now, Aaron, you've also been talking about potentially doing a Kickstarter in the future.
Yes. I have an idea to do one of those kind of as a pre-order for like the collected edition of like Wesley. So it'd be Wesley 1 through 9, which would be like around a 200-page book with all the extras and such.
I think there's such a good market for that on Kickstarter. Like comics is its own category, and I think that Wesley would do really well on Kickstarter.
I hope you're right. Because it's been a concept I've had this concept for nearly 20 years, 18 years this year. So like my plan is I'm working on issue 9 right now, and I have literally 1 page left to pencil, and then we go through and clean up and ink, and then I got a letter and stuff. But but issue 9 is either going to be out in October of this year or April of next year.
It'll be out in October.
We'll see. I might want to go outside a little bit in summertime.
Okay, fair enough. I still think you're the most productive person in the city of Oswego. So
Maybe. I don't know everybody else, so it's hard to say.
I know
But,
most of them. You're at least top 5, top 3.
Nice. Top 5. I'll take that. But
Lucas, you're on the top bottom 5.
But I'm going to give myself like a year to edit and like really look at stuff and really dial stuff in and start to think about finishes. Like, do I want to do color? Do I want to do halftones? Do I want to do what are the things I want to add to it to really make it sing as a piece? Or maybe I show it to a few people and maybe re-edit some stuff, maybe some more pages here, some other things just to really dial it in and make it look really good. So that will be like all of like 2023. I'll do other stuff too. But I'll be working on getting that all juiced up and ready to go, and then maybe launching it in maybe January, February of 2024. Because then if it succeeds, then I'll have like that be able to tour that book essentially
yeah,
for
the
that
whole
year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the great thing about Kickstarters. You have a physical product
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of it, and everyone's just pre-ordered it, and you can table and bring it to comic shops. And
I'm hoping to do like SPX, like the Small Press Expo in Bethesda, Maryland, or there's CXC in Columbus. Or I haven't worked out the international stuff, but I'd love to do Toronto Comics and Art Festival, TCAF, in Toronto. That
TCAF this weekend.
Oh it's this weekend. I'm not going to it this year, but
Let's go next year.
I would love to. Like the first time I went to TCAF, like I'm not a religious person. But like when you're in a room with like professionals and like everybody there cares about the art and the artists and is there for that reason, That's like as close to religion as I get. It was like a religious experience. It was also in like a Masonic temple, and I got to meet Sean Phillips, who's like my favorite living artist, too. So it was like I don't know.
And that's why you started the cult.
Yeah, and that's why I started the Sean Phillips cult. I basically got to meet Jesus, and he was cool, and I paid him to draw a lady for me, and it was
Nice
fun.
lady.
Yeah, she was nice.
She's a very nice lady.
Josephine from Fatale, the Fatale series. Yeah, but anyway, so it's. I mean, I said this last time we were talking about the book, but to see somebody have success with Kickstarter is encouraging.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like
It is great.
Yeah.
That it's like, you're offering a product that's a little different. It's a little sensitive, and the fact that people rallied right around that and said, "Yeah, we want this. Like, we want Jonathan's book." And then the physical result of us selling a lot of copies of your book, like it 8 or 9 copies may not sound like much, but like to us, I think that's tremendous.
in a small town, yeah.
Yeah, that again, it's a very specific material that you're writing, and I can see how some people. That's why again I give my, and it's not that I try to dissuade people from selling or from buying your book, but I do in a sense of like, hey, just so you know, this is what you're getting into, and the response to that has always been very positive. So, and you can still buy it at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street, the comic shop. My Pocket of Fears by Jonathan Ashline and his new Kickstarter, My Silent Cacophony, running for 9 more days, 10 more days.
Yeah, till the 24th.
Jonathan Ashline. Don't spell his name like we had it spelled in the beginning of the podcast. I'm going to read one last thing, I think. I'm going to go back to the moon because, again, I feel like that's a reoccurring theme. This is called Lucas, The Taste of Moonlight.
Okay.
Lucas Moonlight. Lucas, it shines like ice through the clouds. Lucas, it smells crisp and clean in the autumn air. Lucas, it hums with the sound of life. Lucas, it tastes like fairies dancing on your tongue.
I'm gonna end the podcast.
Lucas, like tiny angels doing the waltz with one another. It tastes like electricity in the water, but it also cuts like razor blades. It pierces like frozen nickel. It tastes like mountaintop glaciers. It tastes like life. Lucas.
I'm gonna have to talk to HR after this one.
I think I know.
I'm just hoping I'm not making Jonathan upset by trying to be a little silly with that. But I don't know. Do we have anything else?
I appreciate those readings. Those were some of my favorite.
A little interpretation that's not exactly the actual reading may contain less references to Lucas, but or it may contain more. You have to buy the book to find out.
Nice.
And on that note, Jonathan, do you have anything? Any last minute thoughts, words? Give us the hard pitch.
My Silent Cacophony. I just want to make another book, and I think I have more stories to tell. The second one specifically is about my time in a psychiatric hospital, and it was about 8 days. And so I just thought it would be interesting to kind of play with those characters inside the hospital setting, and show people what that was like for someone diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Very cool.
Okay.
Mr. Lee, you want to plug some stuff?
Should I plug stuff? I can plug stuff if you really want me to.
It's up to you.
Okay, yeah. I'm Aaron Z. Lee. I have Pizza's Pizza, a complete novel about the human son of a living pizza man must feed evil anchovies.
Must.
Creep of the Crop, a 30-page little horror zine, black and white, a rural ghost horror host. And Wesley the Robot, like indie rock meets Iron Giant, with interviews with musicians like Abso Facto, The Faint, Interpol, some other stuff. Got 8 issues out now. There's going to be 9 issues, and that'll be collected in 2024. But the individual issues available at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street.
The comic shop.
Comic shop.
Lucas,
Yeah.
do you want to tell us, or give us your pitch about being a lawyer, or share anything about Lowe's before we go tonight?
No.
You're kind of over.
I'm over Lowe's. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to say that.
No,
But
I
your
know.
next thing is to be a lawyer.
Yes.
We wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
Because again, there was a lawyer who was in the office upstairs above the comic shop, and if he can be a lawyer, truly, anyone can be a lawyer.
Gives me a lot of hope.
Truly, anyone. I don't know, Aaron, take us home.
You've been listening to The Comic Shop Does a Podcast featuring our very special guest, Jonathan Ashline. Oh, and I'm one of the hosts. My name's Aaron Z. Lee.
I'm Lucas Brewer.
I am Lucas Brewer as well. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.